I always forget to clear my storage. This I got from my friend's center in Palm Harbor, Florida. It's these amazing healing devices called tensor rings. I explained it on my last video, so if you want to see that, or the video about the tools and tech. So I did want to talk about a couple things. Whew, pretty hot for November. So if you're feeling like you're in the thick of things and you're still dealing with stuff, well, I know if I get to have a fire, I'll sit down, I could have all this city on me, I could have all this tech on me, I could have all this Facebook and AI and Wi-Fi, all that stuff all over me, where I don't feel very grounded, how I feel like myself. Man, I have a fire. A lot of people can do it with just a candle. So it'll just grounds me immediately. Some people it's water. Some people it's just being on the earth, barefooted. Some people it's doing meditation and watching your breathing. So that's fire, water, earth, and air. Each of us has a stronger one, and sometimes it's based on your. I'm sweating. That's why I'm doing this. Whew. Based on your astrology sign. You got a lot of earth, you got a lot of air. So making prayers for the collective. Making prayers for my family. Making prayers for the children. Asking God to rescue the lost children, the abused children, and the sex trafficking, the drug trafficking, the drugs. This awakening, it has to be intense. It has to continue to be intense. Puff some tobacco. On a good note, I've completely quit all tobacco products. It's like, wait a minute, you're smoking. No, I quit it all on a recreational basis, or when I would do it outside of ceremony. So here I am in ceremony, and I was puffing because the ancestors. My ancestors love the sacred tobacco. I could have smoked the whole thing between videos because that other video ended. But no, I did it for this purpose, showing you something. So you puff to the 7 directions. When we pray with the sacred peace pipe, the Chanupa, it's called, the holy divine instrument that was brought to us. Many cultures brought sacred gifts and objects that was particularly for their culture, but this is one of the greatest. We always honored 4 great goddesses: White Buffalo Calf Woman, Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, Isis, from different parts of the world. There's many goddesses, the Taras, India and Tibet, and there's. So anyways, many gods and goddesses, Osiris and Isis and, Krishna and Radha and Shiva Shakti. And, but I have a disposition towards honoring the feminine, not the feminine, but the divine mother, divine feminine consciousness. For that, to Mother Earth. This is the chief medicine plant around the world, at least in the Americas. Sage, cedar, sweetgrass, and tobacco. Of all of them, the tobacco. And I'll tell you this, every tribe will tell you the chief medicine plant is tobacco. Not because it has anything to do with nicotine. It's just long before cigarettes, long before we share it in the peace pipe. Mix it with a few other things like red willow, maybe osha root. And it's mixture, but you don't inhale it. You just puff. You puff to the 7 directions: the heavens, the earth, the east, the south, the west, the north. Any ceremony you do of the Western Hemisphere, anyways, basically all indigenous people, you go out of the 7 directions. You make a tetrahedron. You make a double tetrahedron. And put them together. There, it's like a Merkaba spinning in opposite directions. Is what a Merkaba does, and it's the number one, the main. We all have it as part of our aura, part of our. When we awaken further, we realize we have this, and we activate it, and we become that much a higher frequency vibration, and that Merkaba is a soul travel device. It's a soul travel to travel the universe, to travel within, your third eye open, knowing, and it's a protection. And so, Merkaba, look it up. It's amazing. And so that's that sweat lodge, or these ceremonies. You honor those 7 directions. You're honoring all those points that make up that Merkaba field. To the east, where things begin, sun rises. The south, midday. That's like spring, summer, when things are growing. The south. To the west, the sunset. This is a 3rd phase where the sun's going down, 3rd phase of a person's life. Spring, summer, fall, or birth, youth, middle age, searching time, remembering who we are. And then the north, wisdom of the winter, wisdom of old age, wisdom of the elders, and they also include the children there. As the cycle begins again, old age, death, to rebirth again as a child, we honor that. The eagle in the east, and the deer, the corn, squash, beans in the south growing, the west, the bear, the thunder beings, the wisdom of the rattlesnake, of the wisdom of the earth. And the north is the white buffalo, snow goose, the white of the winter, the great giant of the winter consciousness. Things are sleeping, gestating, and it's like a cycle. It is a cycle, right? So you got so things are gestating, and then in the east they start to right, the seed is planted, and then it struggles. It's like when we're going through new growth or new cycle or new lessons, you're struggling as the seed is trying to get up through that soil. It's got all that resistance, it's got all that dirt and rocks going through, and it's like us whenever we're going through tests, trials, and growth phase. We have to go through all that to grow, right? And then in the summer it really starts growing. Things are really growing, and the crops, and you're learning the youth of life. You're learning about life. The next stage of maturity in the cycle that you're in life, and then In the fall is when we have the harvest, right? That's when we collect the crops, when they grow, and we have a big celebrations and all that, and feast for all, and take that food. In the old days, they would take it underground in their basements or in their storage places, or they would smoke it or make jerky. You know, that full, and then it goes again from that fullness back into the gestation of the quiet of the north, of the right, and the seed is asleep. Start the cycle again. So we're gradually going through these cycles every year as we're spiraling upward, because we're learning more, we're growing more, we're evolving more in consciousness, and it could be, you could have cycles within cycles, cycles through different stages of your life that took 10 years, took lifetimes, it took whatever to get through. And then the last direction is the within, which is the I am presence, God consciousness, the higher self and the lower self, knowing the difference between the spirit and the ego, the perpetual, they say battle between the spirit and the flesh, but it's really a learning process. So we're growing into ourselves, our real selves. So we honor this physical body. We honor these physical feelings, emotions. We honor this physical mind, or these aspects: physical body, emotional body, mental body, and spiritual, and emotional, mental, etheric, which is spiritual, and physical. So, and then we go through all these. This world tried to beat us down, that we're never good enough, and dumb down. Men, look at all the sitcoms. Men are just dummies, and all these television shows, right? And all the stuff they put in our food, we're trying to bring down the testosterone levels, and even the women power, coming up, which is totally was meant the way it's supposed to be. Not only are we balanced, the women have this extra gene of spirit connection, because they can give birth through the body, right? But then it did get to the extreme where the women's live movement, where they had I don't know if it's superiority, or they just didn't like the male anymore, so all that. So, but the male and female within, we both got the masculine, this right side putting outward, in the world, and this receiving, the feminine side. So we honor that. We honor everything we life. We honor we learn as we grow, as we start to face our pain, do our shadow work. We start to face our pain. They say you got to feel it to heal it. You got to look at it. You can't ignore it. You can't run from it. You can't, drugs and alcohol and addictions. You can't keep running from it. You just have to look at it. And now we have so much help from the universe. Now all you got to do is look at it. Sit in meditation, breathe through it. You might get through it in one meditation. You never know. It could be the next level, or it could take, a phase, or 21 days, or however long. It takes repetition to change the neural pathways in the brain. It says it takes 400 times to do it, to change something, repetition. But if you do it in play and joy and happy-heartedness, it can be done in 10 or 20. So we're changing by coming back to ourselves. It's a magnificent body that does everything we possibly need it to do. All these magnificent systems, all this DNA, all this junk DNA we have, they call it, but we all know that it's not junk. It's massively, intelligent. And now it's awakening. Through all these sun flares, through the master consciousness, the plan. This is divine plan fulfilled. The plan has been in place for thousands of years. They knew this time was coming. The dark forces also knew this time was coming. They wanted to take over this, make it their realm, but it wasn't destined to. It was destined to go into the highest frequency, the highest light, the highest potential, God has deemed it so. So we came out of the quarantine of the planets. We were quarantined here, where I mean, the star beings didn't really want to come here, or couldn't come. They couldn't even support us. Hardly in the atmosphere. It was so dense. Till they came back when we started doing nuclears, and then people started waking up, realizing, the whole conscious movement happened in every which way, including knowing how dangerous nuclears were. Made a lot of us wake up. The previous couple generations before us, right? So now the planet has been freed. It's gone past the halfway point, the 50-50, light dark. It's gone to 70. It's about to 80 now, and that's what we need. That will never go down again. And so they say we've been completely freed, liberated, emancipated, and that we are now once again been accepted into the Galactic Council of Planets. We are one of the shining, fulfilling. We're completing that process, becoming one of the shining. And this is going to be the golden shining planet in the universe. This is one of the most greatest places in the universe. Why? Because it has massive resources. However, God, made this beautiful Earth that other planets don't have, and we've got all these genetic pieces in us from the whole universe. We're made up of the stars. We're made up of the star beings. We're made up of we come from lineages. They call us royalty because we have so many star lineages within us. Believe that or not, that's from the UFO world perspectives of the contactees for many years. They say we have this Andromedan. Say we got 22 star races in us. Many of us old ones, and that's why they call us royalty, because they don't have that. They're within their own. They may have advanced technology and advanced, love and advanced things, but there's things that they don't have. So we need each other. They have things that we don't have. That's a little star lore knowledge if you want to go that deep. If you want to buy into that, if you want to believe some of that. Not saying that, don't get turned off if you don't believe that. Because I study it all, guys. I study every level, every possible dimensions. Tibetan Buddhism, of course, Christianity, the Native Americans. I've been around the world. I've been inside the Great Pyramid of Egypt. We did a peace pipe ceremony there. Went to Australia, danced with the Aborigines. Twice I've been there, and the grandmothers and the great ones from the deserts that had never even. We were on this ocean front. They'd never seen the ocean before. They were going crazy with excitement. And they cooked snake for us. Big old snake in their coals. And they pulled it out. The guy pulled off the edges, and my wife, at the time, Mary Thunder, said, "Back out." Oh, they invite all the elders over. She's, "Back out, huh?" I would have ate it. She's like, "Back out." No, we took off. She's like, "No way. There's no way I'm eating that snake." So, I've been to the jungles of Mexico 5 times. We went 6 hours. We were taken by one of the last king of the Lacandon Mayans of the southern Mexico, of the Yucatan, of the Chiapas, the Mayans, where Pakal was interred in the tomb, Palenque. And we met. Mary Thunder was having vision after vision of being here before, and having this knowledge of this certain elder that not too many people knew about. And they had these Indians, Lacandon Mayas, that were selling stuff up at the, as to the tourists. We're talking way down in the jungle, though. Palenque is a really remote place. And they wear these white tunics all the way. They have long black hair. And Spirit told her to tell this man through the interpreter. I went over to him. He was selling stuff, and she walked through the crowd, and this man says, "Who's the sun dancer here?" She said, "I am." And he says, the elders here want to speak with you. She had a dream the night before that was going to happen. going to say, "Who's the sun dancer?" come through the crowd. So they took us to the side, and he said, "What, why are you here?" She said, "I had a vision 4 years ago of this man, 4 foot tall, that smoked cigars, and he was the leader of everything." And she said, "In my dream, I was giving crystals to all the Mayan children, and they all looked at each other and their eyes got big, and they said, 'We're going to take you to the jungle to see our father, Changkin. He's the last Mayan king, last generation, supposedly the last Mayan king is what they was called." So, and he gave her this. He put this necklace on her, or he gave her a jaguar claw and an eagle claw and a jaguar tooth, and we fashioned them to her medicine. It was like amazing, right there was a great ceremony and honoring. I was young. I was like 20, my mid-20s. We had a group with us. Matter of fact, we had 2 van loads. We had a lot of people that time. So he said, "I'm going to take you to my father." So we changed plans. Our whole being there as tourists. It's our 4th year in a row we went there because we felt like we had been there in past lives. And we got drawn back every year. It was in the 80s, mid-80s, late 80s. So we went 6 hours through the jungle, washboard roads. You know those dirt roads that you bounce all the way through, down them. You got to go like 10 miles an hour. 6 hours. We got to his place, and he had this hut, which was his temple. It was nothing like Palenque and all the ancient pyramids. It was a thatch roof hut temple. He had a house there. He had 2 wives. He had one, a young wife, and an old wife. He was 105 or older. Said he was at least 105, 4 foot tall. He was all crippled up from arthritis. Wore his white tunic, really beautiful, like really, really small, really old. And he took us into this temple to do ceremony. There wasn't too many words. We came to do so. He was going to bless us. So all the men went in to this temple, and there's places to sit. And the women started to come in because they said, "Have men go first." And the women. Well, his helper at the gate stopped the women. Mary Thunder was first. And then he looked, and everybody looked at Changkin sitting over there, and he's like, he was getting stuff ready or whatever. 2 or 3 times he stopped the women. He got up. Changkin got up, came over, moved the guy out of the way, led her in. All the women came in. We all sat together, and we all intermixed with our couples and all that. And it was the first time women had ever came in his temple before. So it was another great honoring. So we had an elder with us, a Lakota elder named Harry Charger, who was one of Orville Looking Horse's uncles, who was the keeper of the sacred Chinoopa, the 19th generation keeper of the White Buffalo Calf Pipe, still exists. So we let Harry, we honored him he filled the Chinoopa peace pipe, and he sang, and then Changkin sang, and they sounded so similar. Amazing. It was so amazing. So really great ceremony. So right before he left, he came up to Thunder and I. We talked, and there were some prophecies talked about, and I can't remember. It was all on tape. It was a long time ago. One was called the Rainbow Serpent. So the information would have been good, right? To share now. But he gave this statue, this black stone statue to us, and it was of a man walking. He was leaning forward, and they used to carry the straps over their back. And he had its bundle on his back. When you turn around, you look at it, it was 2 heads of a jaguar. You could see the body and 2 heads. The story with it. And this statue, and there's a little stone that came with it on a string. This amazing black stone. And the legend is that there was a two-headed jaguar, which is the most powerful animal in their jungles, right? The jaguar, and it was two-headed, and it was attacking people. It was not at peace, and it was killing villagers and hunters and things like that. So this one man, everybody tried to, and this one man finally subdued it, killed it, and brought it out. He got on his back like that, and what it represents is a person mastering the two forces in themselves, the light and the shadow, right? The two-headed. So that's what it symbolized. And he told us, anytime you want me to be with you, he said, you're going to strike the statue, do ceremony, get everything set up, and strike the statue with the stone. And my consciousness, or spirits, or whatnot, will be there. And we know that's true. Why that story come up, I don't know. It just came out of nowhere. I did want to. Many blessings. John Keane, his son. That was his son that we had met. That was his son we had met there. I don't know if I mentioned that. Who gave the jaguar tooth and the eagle claw to her, and that the spirit had brought us together. And it wasn't his oldest son. He had many sons. So if he become the next king, I don't really know. But he was a young man, 30s. That was a great honor. Great honor. So carry that with complete and utter respect within my heart. Gratitude, strength from my lifetimes there, including this one. I want to read something. I'm looking for my glasses. Glasses. My sunglasses. There's my. Well, I can't find my glasses. Can't read that, but what I was thinking about was I decided I would start telling some healing stories. Healings I've been through and experienced, be part of it, without divulging native, sacred ceremonies, but just real experiences. So, there they are. But what I wanted to mention was, we're still all going through our own tests. We're all going through our own trials. We're all going through our own fears. We're going to, the matrix has still got a hold of us to some degree. And, this is a time of learning how to take our power back. It's like recognizing when you've given your power away to anything in your life, to being mad at the gas prices, to being feeling like you don't have enough money to do this or that, to feeling that the educational system let us down, the medical system, the financial justice system has all let us down. That could really take you in a tailspin downward. It can take you into victimization. It can take you into depression. Those are all the lower vibrations that the darkness wants us to be in. But no, we rise above it. We rise above it. We say, we know all that. We know all that. We know the good time is coming. So we have to take our power back. You have to sit down. You have to meditate. You have to go into the zone and become that. When you meditate, both hemispheres of the brain, the left, right, the duality comes together in the corpus callosum, in the top higher mind, the top part of the brain. We connect to the source. We breathe those dense energies and that sexual energy and that emotion up. You squeeze those lower chakras and you come to your heart, and your throat, and your third eye, your crown, your higher heart, thymus. You blossom it out. Do that several times. Around in a rainbow, torus field. More meditation techniques. And you get yourself back to, get your feet in the grass. Go outside at your lunchtime and eat your lunch in the grass, or at least get in that wind even if it's cold. Fire's talking again. Have a fire, have a candle going. When Mary Thunder was so connected to that fire, light as protection. I was with her 16 years. We had a candle burning every single night. Every single night for 16 years. Yeah, one way or the other. Maybe if we didn't have a candle, but I remember every night she had to have it. So always had those tall glass ones. And not sure what all that wax might have affected me, but I've transmuted all that. So we transmute the pain, we transmute the suffering, we transmute the darkness, right? And we find a technique, we find tools, we find meditation, we find our faith again. We get with people, we do ceremony, we teach our children, we learn to have. The most important thing is to learn to have self-respect, taking our power back. Self-worth, taking our power back. Self-love, taking our power back. Self-confidence, taking our power back. Right? Am I right? So, how do we do that? We walk through our fears. We follow our dreams. We maintain our strength when times are hard. We say, hell no, I'm not succumbing to what these doctors are telling me that I have a disease or this, that, or the other. Hell, heavens no, I am not buying into that, poverty is only our way of life. True, our generations before that, us, yes, they suffered through all that. They were stuck in that. They had to endure the density before the awakening started. See, the awakening is this generation. The awakening is now. The awakening is us. We're the ones we've been waiting for. So, you're taking your power back that way. You're standing up to the bullies. You're setting boundaries. You're learning how to contain your chakras. You're learning how to balance your chakras. You're learning how to watch your breathing. You're learning how to be here now, grounded in the here and now. Bring all those teachings in. Don't go out there. Don't traveling etheric, especially astral traveling. There's nothing good in the astral plane. Saint Germain says there's nothing good. There's nothing of the Christ in the astral plane. It's the realm of, it's the next realm up of all the density that there's ever been throughout all existence in this lifetime. I mean, not in this lifetime, in this life. And you float up in there, there's all kinds of, that's why we put on our armor of God, Archangel Michael, and cord cutting and putting in our pillar of light and using the violet fire and, staying prayed up 24/7. Because those forces are unleashed now. They're coming out of the astral. They're coming, the battle is, they're at it's over. So they're doing their last ditch attempts to control our weather, to affect us, to put out the Satanism in our everywhere and try to, bring people over there and sell your soul and da-da-da and kids and transgender, that's one thing, but what they really want is pedophilia legalized. Because they're Satanists, and that's what they do. All those most horrendous things to children, sacrificing. It's true. We're all learning that. We're all knowing that now. So, but they're at their end. Remember, we're at 80% light on the planet. So all that's dying out, but we're in Earth, so it's dense, it's slower. So it's dying out. It's like a fire dying out slowly, And the new fire is being rebuilt. We're transforming that. All these coals, it's all that's burning away the old, and we're rekindling and the new. All of us have gone down so far into those ashes. We burn ourselves up. We're burning our egos up. We're burning our fears and our self-importance and our beyond the truth, beyond the light, beyond God consciousness, beyond Christ consciousness, beyond, Buddha, stable, centered, one mind, one brain, one heart, all over this earth. So you're taking your power back. You're becoming who you always was, were, and will be on the inner planes, on the higher planes, between lives. You know, we're royalty. We're honored by the ancestors. We're honored by the spirit guides. We're honored by the angels. We're honored by the galactics. Why? Because we had the guts to come down here, lower our vibration so much, and walk into this massiveness, this shitstorm of beehive of insanity, you know? Try to make heads or tails of it. As they say, starseeds, sometimes a lot of them, this is the first lifetime on Earth. Think about what great beings they are to walk into this and say, what the fuck is this? What the fudge is this? But they're so programmed from, at a soul level, from their, you know, their blueprint, their destiny, their purpose here, that kind of programming of light, that they just step right in. They just, and that's what the awakening has been. We talk about the awakening. The awakening is people, all of a sudden they're getting, everything got just right on this planet. The vibration, the frequency is raised so much, all of a sudden people are waking up by the millions every day. Poof, 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 poof. What? Oh my God. They look at the news. This is bullshit. This is a lie. Oh my God. I can see things. I know things. I can sense. Or they have that Kundalini awakening, which is really intense, where you have the rushing from the base of the spine, and that can be really intense. It used to be really intense on people. And all the different ways, right? You know, they're trying to make it gradual. The masters are trying to make it gradual on us. But here we are doing our work, sharing, talking, YouTube, teaching, go in every sector, from the medical to the educational to the judicial system to the prison system. I want to do a shout out for those that are incarcerated, and prayer for those that are incarcerated. You know, whether rightfully or wrongfully, they're, you know, it's not a good place. You know, we're all been in prison on this planet, but they really got it. You know, so may they all learn their lesson. May they all heal. May they be treated right, fed right. May they be safe, and do their restitution, and find God in there, and make their way out back to freedom, to share, you know, to be clean again from drugs and alcohol, and to be you know, at peace, and, you know, make a difference in their communities. Pray for all you brothers and sisters. You know, a lot of Native people end up having, because on the, you know, that's one of the terrible things of the reservation, was their federal reservation. So many of the misdemeanors we have here are felonies and federal charges on the res that might be misdemeanors here. So most of these guys, you know, their rites of passage now is doing stints and, you know, doing time, hard time. And, you know, it used to be the buffalo hunt. It used to be the rites of passage, you know, the fasting on the mountain for 4 days, and, you know, the sacred ceremonies they would take them through. And this is, they say now, this is a lot of our rites of passage. See the injustice, my friends? That reservation laws will change. Tribal law, you know, they did get the rights to religious freedom, 1978, fought for it, civil rights like the African Americans, like the different countries that, like Uganda and India, places that got their kicked the British out, got their independence back. So, you know, tribal law, it's still, you know, they put the native people on the worst lands in this country, and then years later they say, oh, wait a minute, there's coal and uranium and gold under there, so they try to take it back. The Black Hills, big mountain, so there's been huge resistances against that. The water, they don't care about our water across the reservations, like Standing Rock, the great stand-up the people did for a few years ago now, and Standing Rock, North Dakota. the pipelines, the oil, those oil, or that those oil pipelines go through the reservation, very close to the Cheyenne River, which is the main, one of the only main waterways up there for everything, for from crops to cattle to people to travel, and that's why the resistance was so big, because if one of those pipelines burst, which they do all over the country, it was going to pollute that river and pollute the whole lands. And it's been a very hard fight for them. All them people up there working on those pipelines, and there's been a lot of, violence against Native people. There's been a lot of Indian women been kidnapped, assaulted, raped, murdered, and God bless them that some of them giving themselves to prostitution for all these workers up there on these pipelines, but all because of the circumstances. Their lifestyles were taken away. These things are forced on them. The white man and the white culture still does not respect Native ways much in this world. So God bless all the non-Indians that have helped Indian people throughout the years. I saw that fight. I come along in the mid '80s, and the American Indian movement was still strong through the rose all over this country, but Rosebud Pine Ridge people that I knew, families, the Crow Dogs, and Black Elk, and the Means family, and the Camp family, Oklahoma, and Dennis Banks families, the Ojibwe people, and the Bellacourts, Ojibwe people, leaders of the resistance. So I came along as a part blood, got to Sundance with them, and started in '89, and there was much talk. AIM was still very strong, American Indian Movement, and I danced with a handful of us, danced with 300 Full Blood Indians in Crow Dog Paradise, beautiful holy place, Sundance ways, spiritual ways, but they had to take up their warriorness again.